Okay, great. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Penny Dye. I'm Vice Chair of the Affordable Housing Trust, and I'll chair this meeting in the absence of Brian Sullivan, who's traveling, our chair. We have a quorum of trust members, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm going to do attendance and also all votes by roll call, given that we're meeting remotely. According to the Select Board Office, we no longer have to read, thankfully, the preamble that we used to have to read. So I would like to take attendance of the trust members first. When I say your name, if you could please state yes, that you're in attendance. Thank you. Megan Browers.
Here.
Thank you. Forrest Bell.
Here.
Thank you. Tom Dixon.
Here.
Abby De Molina.
Here.
And Chantal Blas Murphy.
Here.
And the chair is here as well. Thank you. Staff and helpers, when I call your name, please acknowledge that you're present. Rachel Field.
Here.
Thank you. Christy Ferrantella.
Here.
This is Christy's first meeting back after her maternity leave, so thank you so much and welcome back.
Thank you.
Tracy McDonald.
Here.
Thank you. Joe Grouse for Habitat.
I'm here.
Thank you. Lee Smith.
Here.
And Alice Ramos. Okay.
Here.
Thank you. Richard Hussey also for Habitat. And well, we can see he's here. Anyway, and Colin Froelich for Placemate.
Hello.
Hi, Colin. We want to let you know that although we had a number of on our agenda, the ones that are involved with housing management. I think that's Rich. Okay. Alice, can you mute him, please? Thank you. Colin, Anne has had a family situation. She will not be in attendance at this meeting, and she's asked to put the reports on the agenda for our next meeting, which is April 15th.
Okay.
So if it's okay with you, you're welcome, of course, to stay, but that's what we're going to do is push off.
Okay, I'll head out. Thank you.
That's great.
Everyone.
Thank you so much. Okay, next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Did anybody have any questions, changes, additions?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dixon. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. By roll call vote, all those in favor, Megan
Aye.
and Forrest.
Aye.
Thank you, Tom Dixon.
Aye.
Thank you. Abby,
Aye.
Chantal.
Aye.
Thank you, and the chair votes aye. This next item on the agenda is public comment. This is for items that are not on the agenda. Is there anybody here that would like to share any thoughts, ask questions? Yes, I see Christy Ferrantella's hand is up.
I just want to take a minute to thank Tracy and Alice and Rachel and the whole trust for keeping everything moving. I had a wonderful 3 months with Frankie, and it was really great to tune in when I could and catch up and know everything was moving forward. So huge thank you to everybody.
We are eternally grateful for their assistance in your absence. Yes. Okay, I have an announcement which is related to the Howard M. Dickler Citizens Award. The Affordable Housing Trust is now accepting until April 4th at the end of the business day nominations for this. This is the third annual year that we will be doing this. Our agenda says the trust will announce the nominees on April 15th, which is at our next meeting, and the winner will be revealed at our annual town meeting on May 3rd. As you know, the first recipient of this award was Billy Cassidy. The second was Rich Hussey. And the award, it honors a community member who has made significant contributions to affordable and attainable housing on Nantucket. So this is geared towards volunteers. There is an honorarium that goes with the award that the recipient can direct to the housing organization of their choice. So if you've not already submitted nominations, you could do so between now and today's the 1st, 3 days from now. Okay, any questions on that? No, okay. Next is the closing cost assistance program applications. We call that CCAP. We have three applications. And we'll take them one at a time, I think. And Christy, do you want to go over these, you or Tracy or whomever?
Alice reviewed
Alice?
these.
That's great. Let's start with the first one, which is for 21 Honeysuckle Drive, Carlos Chavez and Ricardo Espinoza. Thank you.
You're, Penny, I'm pretty sure you're looking at the wrong agenda.
It's the one that was with my packet.
That one, yeah, that one was not,
Okay.
not fully complete.
Okay,
And I couldn't get the rest of the paperwork from him, and he has a little
Okay.
time
so that will
until
that will-
he's closing, so I took him
that-
off.
that will come back. You're just gonna have to correct me, because I just am going off the one that was sent to me. If I start veering into stuff that's not on here, just please correct me. So the first one
Okay.
here is Yadira Fernandez Ventura, 9A.
Yes.
5. Thank you.
So she was one, Yadira Fernandez and her family of 3. They were recipients of 9A Wade Drive of the Habitat for Humanity 2-bedroom houses. They won the lottery. They applied for the closing cost assistance. Their paperwork was all perfect when they came in. I have the application is fully complete. I have closing date. I'm talking with their closing attorney, so the application is, if you guys want to approve it today, if you have any questions, go ahead.
Do any trust members have any questions, concerns? Oh, I'm sorry, Megan. Thank you for raising her hand. Sorry. Thank you, Megan.
No
go ahead.
worries. I actually just have a procedural question. Do we distribute these supporting documents in the public packet, or is it strictly for trust members?
Great question.
Strictly for trust members.
I
The
figured,
only thing
Alex.
that goes on the public packet, it's the front page. And and it doesn't even have their name, so I write their name on it. And the AMI level, and if the application was complete or not.
Awesome. I
Just
figured
so
you
the
had it that
public-
way.
That's a great question, and we sort of caught ourselves on this some time ago. So
Yeah, we did it. I did it a couple times, and then we realized that it was appropriate to be sharing people's like private information.
okay. Any other questions on this specific application? Hearing none, could somebody please make a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you, Megan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Forrest. By roll call, all those in favor, Megan
Aye.
and Tom Dixon,
Aye.
Forrest Bell,
Aye.
Abby De Molina,
Aye.
Chantal Blas Murphy,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Thank you. Now, the second one is from prospective homeowner Andre Palma Pereira, 9B Wade Drive. Ellis?
So it's the same situation, same case. It's 9B, the next Habitat for Humanity 2-bedroom home. It's a family of 3. The application was fully complete. I have all the information that I could get from them. They have been very communicative with me in regards of closing date. It was supposed to be towards end of July, but now the reason why they're on this agenda is because they think it's going to be earlier than that. That's why they're here to be approved. You
Great.
guys have any questions?
Seeing none, could we have a motion for approval, please?
I'll make a motion, Madam Chair, to approve the closing cost assistance program up to 15,000 for 9B.
I will
Thank
second
you.
that, Penny.
So, and thank you, Abby. By roll call vote, Megan?
Aye.
Thank you, Tom Dixon,
Aye.
Forrest Bell,
Aye.
Abby De Molina,
Aye.
and Chantal Blas Murphy.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you. Next on our agenda is status reports that were to be coming from 2 different organizations, Housing Nantucket and also Habitat for Humanity. We're going to skip over, as I mentioned earlier, the Housing Nantucket, except because I can't help myself. I'm going to do a update on Wiggles Way from the construction committee. And we're going to jump up to Habitat for Humanity for their update on the Wade Drive development. So, gentlemen,
Good morning, Penny.
good morning.
Hi, Penny. Thank you all.
I'll just bring you up to date. If Ellis could put up the first slide. Can you share that?
Give me a second. I was not prepared to share it.
Oh, sorry.
Thought you were going to share it. It's not a problem.
Well, we're making great progress while we're getting to that.
Yep.
I was looking through my photographs and I actually discovered that we poured the first foundations for the first 2 single-family homes exactly a year ago. So in 1 year, we're entering the final stages of completion for the first of the 2 family homes,
Yep.
2 single-family homes. Well, just to refresh everyone's memory, it's a 6-unit project. There are 4 single-family homes. The largest is a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath. There are 2 of those. They're located at 5A and 9A Waite Drive. There are 2 1,350 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, single-family homes located at 5B and 9B. And exactly in the middle is a duplex consisting of 2 units, each about 1,350 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. We're actually pouring the foundation tomorrow on the duplex.
Great.
So we're making progress there. Where we are is we started 5A and 5B. It's the artwork. Should
There
be
we
the
go.
first page. There it is.
Yep.
There it is. Okay. So on the right-hand side, we started 5A and 5B literally a year ago. We're now at the stage where the interior is in the final painting stages. Kitchen has been installed, waiting for the appliances. Wood flooring has been installed in all of the homes. The homeowners have done a terrific job in completing the molding and trim. Ellis, if you could just back up to the artwork. Yeah,
Yep.
Great, perfect. And they're in the final painting stages. We still have finished plumbing to do where they connect all the sinks and toilets and what have you. That still needs to be done. And the final electric needs to be done. But we're moving along nicely. We anticipate that 5B might be the first home to be ready for occupancy. Possibly we're targeting the probably late June, followed by 5A, potentially late July. And the reason so much is in the hands of the homeowners to finish their part, to finish their, make sure their interior is complete. We're not going to move them in until everything is done. And the other reason we're a little bit tenuous on a move-in date is because we have to make sure that the duplex site is safe for folks to be traveling around it. In other words, we're pouring the foundation tomorrow. We've got to get a watertight shell complete before we can move the folks in. On the other side, 9A and 9B, we've just completed skim coating all of the interior walls. We've just completed the installation of the wood flooring. Now it goes over to the homeowners to install doors, trim, and paint. It was interesting. I heard closing cost assistance being discussed for 9A and 9B. I think their closing date will likely be August for 9B and probably September for 9A. We could possibly accelerate those depending on how the homeowners do in finishing their tasks. If you flip down, Ellis, just page down, This is a photo on the left of the footings for the duplex. As I said, we're pouring the actual foundation tomorrow. In the distance, that's on the right-hand side, that's 9B, on the left, 9A, to give you an idea of what they look like, complete. And we have a messy photo of the kitchen in 5A. Once again, once you can see that their molding is done. They pretty much finished all of the painting. So we're getting ready to move appliances in there. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have on construction and the schedule. But I'm going to turn it over to Joe Grouse for a look at the numbers to date.
I just have a compliment for you. This is by far, in my memory, the largest number of units that Habitat has ever created in
Yes.
part of a time since the
Yes.
inception of Habitat on Nantucket.
Yes, it is.
I was on the early initial board, and I think it took us more than 2 years to develop that first unit.
When I joined in 2010, I worked on a house that took it took 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
So the model that you've developed is much more effective than it used to be.
I think all the credit has to go to our leader, Jerry Keneally, who is off island. That's why he's not on this call. But he actually runs this like a business.
Yep. Yeah.
And we're all accountable for what we've got to get done. So it's a refreshing change. It's been fun to do a really big project like this.
Yeah. And the second comment I have, and I'm not taking this personally, but you've not called NAREB and asked us back to paint. And I hope that has nothing to do with our painting ability or lack of it.
No, I think the folks at 5A and 5B have it pretty well in hand, but I'm sure we can use you on 9A and 9B.
After August. Okay.
Well, and I can throw in there, Penny. I know that Jennifer has been reminding us that that NAREB and has asked to do some volunteer work. So we haven't forgotten about you. I just
and we
don't exactly know where it is in the schedule. So
we're also willing to do landscaping. We have a number of people that say they'd prefer to do that than paint.
Okay. Well,
all right, so we'll flip it to Joe. You want to go ahead and share your?
Sure. Just if Ellis can slide down to the last page, just a summary of some of the project costs. This, I can tell you that the billing and reimbursement process has been working very smoothly between Steve Godwin, our office manager, and the town, the Affordable Housing Trust. So the top of this page shows you the rough square footage of the various units that Rich summarized. And our allocation of the cost to date, we've expended roughly $2.1 million of the $4.388 million that was our planned budget for the project. And basically, we think that we're kind of on the right path in terms of reaching the $4.4 million target for the project. We have experienced cost increases in materials. But we think that some of that was anticipated. We clearly didn't anticipate any impact of tariffs between the United States and Canada, where a lot of building materials come from. But at this stage, we're showing you where we are, and we think we're kind of on plan as far as the costs we're experiencing and what the ultimate cost of the project should be.
Thank you. And I wanted to just for the clarification for the trust, I wanted to point out that this is your cost for construction only, not for land acquisition or infrastructure. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
This land was contributed by the town.
Yep. Thank you. It's a relevant question, which you'll see why when I get to the next thing. All right. Do trust members have any questions for Rich or Joe?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Tom Dixon.
Joe and Rich, if you could, being a former Habitat board member, I know a bit about this, but I think for any members of the trust who might not know, or members of the public, would you talk a little bit about your selection criteria, how it works, ability to partner, volunteer hours, how it works with a homeowner, just in brief, so we can get a picture on how Habitat is a part of the affordable housing community, but does things a little bit different than, say, the trust or Housing Nantucket would.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, as Tom knows, Habitat's philosophy and policy has been to serve the affordable community with projects for ownership, not rental. We target families at 80% AMI and lower than 80% AMI. The houses are priced and the family selection process is conformance with the EOHLC guidelines and the EOHLC sort of lottery process. So we basically go out and seek applications from folks that have incomes less than 80% AMI. We review those applications to confirm their income, to confirm the number of people that might be residing in a particular house or a particular condo, and basically try to end up with a lottery pool. I think the 4 single families that we did about a year ago, I think we ended up with about 35 qualified applications that we did a lottery. Actually, Penny was our formal witness in that lottery roughly a year ago. And we end up with in that process, we had 4 selected families that were appropriate to the number of bedrooms in the homes and whose income qualified them to get into the lottery. I can tell you that we're about to, in fact, I was working on the pricing this morning for the 2 duplexes. The HUD information, Housing and Urban Development income information actually came out today. So I was recalculating the price for the 2 duplexes. Those homes, the price actually is a fairly arcane formula that the EOHLC gives us, but it basically tries to set the price of the home such that families with affordable level incomes can actually afford them. The 2 single family 2 bedrooms were, I think, about $250,000 in terms of their sale price. The 3 bedrooms were a little over 300,000. I think it was 304,000, and the recalculated sales price for the 2 duplexes is going to be $256,000 or so.
Yep.
I'm rambling a little bit here, so if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to sort of go specifically to them.
Okay, I just want to point out that when we blindly drew the it wasn't names, but it was households for the various unit sizes for the 4 single family. I think it was it's 32 that had already been vetted that made it into that hat. And I just want to point out to people, that's really pretty good odds. It was 32 for 4 units. So that's 1 in 8. And I was surprised there were not more people at that time. So I just want to point that out.
Penny, we were actually a little surprised as well. The lottery we did for Benjamin Drive, which was the previous project, I think we had mid-40s in terms of qualified families that made it into the lottery. And I honestly don't know whether, affordable level families who have not been successful have, become discouraged and don't apply, or whether it was, we're always a little worried about holding these lotteries during the middle, sort of the May, June, July, August timeframe, because a lot of folks in this income level are, working 2 jobs, and it is a lot of paperwork. We'll see what happens with this next project as we lottery the 2 duplexes in the middle of the project.
Yeah. So, does anybody have any questions specifically for Joe or Rich?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Tom Dixon.
I would just ask Joe or Rich to quickly comment about the volunteer hours and how that works.
Good point. Habitat requires sweat equity, what we call sweat equity hours. Here on Nantucket, our particular Habitat affiliate, we have set a policy of 350 sweat equity hours, which can be performed by either the actual residents, the folks that are going to live in the home, but we also allow them to bring what we call friends and family. So very often aunts, uncles, fathers, friends, what have you. and they would have, participate in the sweat equity process. The 4 families that have been, working, as Rich summarized before, I honestly, off the top of my head, don't know where they are in their 350 hours. I know from the last board meeting that I attended of Habitat, they're all making perfectly fine process. In fact, some of them may actually have, have hit the 350 hours already. I just don't remember. So,
Yes, Rich?
Joe, I can help there. Both families, the 5A and 5B families are just about at the 350-hour mark. The 9A and 9B are trailing, but with all of the work that they've got in front of them in terms of installing baseboards and trim and painting, they'll easily make it. But I wanted to point out one thing that really has stood out to me personally. Each of the 4 families have been working on not only their own place, but on their future neighbors' places, which I think is really neat.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much for your report. We really appreciate it. And I'm sure Christy will be adding it to her quarterly report to the select board next one. So good luck, and call us if you need more help. I mean, NARA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
well, we will, and certainly on behalf of Jerry and the whole board of Habitat, we want to thank the Affordable Housing Trust for, your support over the years. We couldn't do this without the support that we've gotten from the town and from the Affordable Housing Trust.
Thank you. Okay, on the agenda,
Oh, Penny, can I just
yeah.
add that we're very excited that the last 2 units of the 6-unit development were added to the SHI list
Yes.
recently. So we're excited that all 6 of those have counted towards our 10% goal.
And that is a major sort of criteria and goal of ours going forward in terms of funding. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, Ann Kutzpa is unavailable, but I am compelled as a member of the construction committee for Wiggles Way to give a brief report, as is sort of typical for this time of the year on Nantucket. There is a lot of misinformation flying around out there. So for the public record, if you'll just bear with me, I just want to do a quick recap of where we are. In the spring of 2022, ground was broken for the first of 8 foundations at 31 Fairgrounds Road. The development, as you know, is comprised of 22 units and 8 separate buildings. There are 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, 2 of which are designated for occupants needing accessible homes. The area median income on Nantucket is currently $133,100. These rental units are serving a variety of different income levels. There are 6 of them, I believe, are for households earning below 80% of AMI. That means up to $122,480. To those earning up to 150% of AMI, $229,650. 6 of the units will be occupied by Nantucket municipal employees who meet the income qualifications for their various units, size, and income. All of the units will count towards the SHI list. Housing Nantucket, the developer of the project, acquired the land, which was 1.97 acres, fully designed, engineered, and permitted for $4.1 million in 2021. The town has funded over 87% of this project through a combination of grants and long-term low-interest loans amortized over 50 years. These loans will be paid back and utilized to create more housing opportunities in the future. Billy Cassidy had the original vision for the development, was the builder, and along with general contractor Will Stevens, who was brought in to help finish it. The project is known as Wiggles Way after Wiggles Coffin, whose family sold the land. In 1921, there was an expansion in scope. Prior to construction, from 5 to 8 buildings and from 18,500 square feet to 21,000. The buildings have poured concrete foundations and are of modular construction with a high level of custom interior and exterior finishes, which will make them durable and low maintenance well into the future. The total cost, including land acquisition, design, permitting, development, engineering, infrastructure and construction, landscaping, hardscaping, and the roadway is $22 million. The building construction cost is coming in at the range of about $760 per square foot, a huge accomplishment in the current construction environment, especially for development of this quality. The construction committee is happy to report that we have certificates of occupancy recently issued, and we're excited that 22 year-round households, which is around 70 people, will be moving in between now and the end of April this year. So I have this in writing. I'm going to email it to you, Christy, and to Ellis. You can put it into our minutes. But I just thought it was really important to get the truth out there. Anybody have any questions? I see none. Okay, good. Now we're going to move on. Item number 7 on the agenda is a request for proposal for 135 and 137 Orange Street, 12 and 12R Bartlett Road, and 16 Vesper Lane. Evaluation committee. Do you want to take that over, Christy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just wanted to let everybody know that the RFP deadline was last week for the issuance building out the 3 properties, 135 and 137 Orange Street, 16 Vesper, and 12 Bartlett. We received 1 bid for all 3 sites, and the finance department is currently reviewing it to ensure the minimum criteria of the RFP was met. But we're very excited to begin reviewing this, and we need to appoint a evaluation committee to be able to review the proposal and award the bid. The timeline is that we were hoping to award the bid by mid-June. The response to the RFP is very extensive, which we just might need a little bit more time. So Brian Turbot just wanted me to kind of relay that information that we're going to try to work on a tight timeline, but we're really excited to review this. It's up to the trust members to appoint the evaluation committee for this, and what Brian and I have put together is a proposal. We could have between 7 and 9 members. And what I'm recommending is for it to be Brian Turbot as the Chief Procurement Officer, Leslie Snell, the Director of Planning, myself, Director of Housing, Tracy McDonald, our Real Estate Specialist, and Rick Sears, our Assistant Town Manager, as the town staff that will be on the committee. I'd also recommend that we have 2 representatives from the Affordable Housing Trust, and we do know that that makes a subcommittee, but all of this will be posted and open to the public because we want the public to be involved in this process. I'd also recommend a select board member, and then lastly, a member of the Neighborhood First Advisory Committee, since it was those funds that helped acquire these land acquisitions. And the public members of that committee that were not board appointed were Peter Hoey, Doug Abbey, Posey Constable, and Joe Grouse. So looking for the trust to say, you know, who should be on the committee, and then I can start reaching out and confirming participation.
Thank you, Christy. I feel very strongly that you need somebody on there with local construction experience.
Okay.
I just would ask that you take away an at-large and add somebody like that. I just think, given the challenges that we have faced, I just think it's foolish not to have somebody with that kind of experience. Okay, other questions, comments from the board members? Okay. Are you looking for a motion, Christy?
If you guys are comfortable with that list, and then proposing who you might want to be the Affordable Housing Trust members, and then I'll put it to the select board to select their representative.
Is it
Yeah.
premature to ask for volunteers from the Affordable Housing Trust or not?
As soon as the finance department is finalized reviewing that it's met all the criteria, Brian wants to be able to schedule a meeting and start reviewing it.
So should we ask people on the trust to step forward or give it some thought and step forward at the next meeting? Or what? Oh, Chantal, you have your hand up. There we go.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to volunteer as tribute as one of the trust members, if
Great.
that's possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Abby
was,
Melina?
yeah, I was gonna volunteer as well.
That's great.
So.
I guess should we need a motion for that? Yeah, I think we do. Okay. Are there any other volunteers that want to step forward? No. Okay, so we have two, Christy, you said two volunteers from the trust, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to have our two volunteers be Abby De Molina and Chantal Blas Murphy? Somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Tom Dixon. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Forrest. By roll call vote, those in favor, Megan
Aye.
and Tom,
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Chantal,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Thank you so much for stepping forward. Okay, do we need we don't need to vote on anything else, do we, on that item?
No, I'll continue working with Brian
Okay.
to
That's
fill the rest of the seats.
Okay, item number 8, and this is kind of relevant to my comment about all the wildly inaccurate rumors that are flying around right now. This item concerns annual town meeting communications strategy discussion. Our little committee is Alice, Abby, and Chantal. Abby, do you want to sort of bring us up to date, or?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, we have met, I think our meeting minutes might be posted, but, we met, I want to say it was last week. And what we talked about is we reviewed a little bit of the strategy, and, prior to meeting as the subcommittee, we had, met with Florencia to kind of get a sense of what the town could support from their standpoint. And so our proposal is to review, we have in the packet, I think, some scripts for some short videos. And I think the thought is, we had done some videos last year. We just wanted to make sure there was a lot of consistency with the videos, hopefully that they were filmed indoors. There was a question about whether or not we could use, there's a nice camera at the town to film it, but we wanted to do film those scripts, but we wanted them to be approved by the trust first. And then we had been working on a flyer, but I think there's just some metrics on it that we want to make sure are updated. And obviously Christy has been very busy, so we were going to wait until we could ensure those numbers were correct and that everybody was okay with that approach before updating it. And then once we approve the scripts, everyone's okay with it, I think we would share them with Florencia. She would be okay with it. And then the thought is she would post them on the town social media channels so that we could share them throughout the community. Yes. Question.
I have a suggestion, well, question suggestion. I think our outreach needs to be more proactive maybe than just on the website. I'd like to see it on the current. I'd like to see us engaging with digital media widely prior.
Good point. Good point. Good point, Penny. We actually also did talk about doing ads in the current. And I don't know if we want to do, I know I often read the opinion page in the current. We could do a letter there as well if we feel like that's appropriate. I think if you guys have seen lots of different organizations, just do it as like a PSA.
Yep.
I often see some of the environmental groups doing it,
Yep.
but we had talked about, yes, doing digital media ad buys, I think in both the current and the Inky.
And lastly, having a handout at town meeting. Would be
Yes.
important, I think. Can you maybe, because here we are, it's April 1st today. Town meeting is May 3rd. So we need sort of a schedule of what, I mean, I think it would be helpful to you to have a schedule of what you're doing when and where. Okay, we have some hands up. Chantal, I think had, well, I'm sorry. Can't tell who was first. Chantal, you go ahead. This is a board member.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to add to what Abby was saying. We also agree that we need a schedule, and we worked out a rough schedule, but we wanted to present the script to the trust to make sure you were all comfortable with the direction we were taking this. And we also wanted to work with Christy. We were giving her time to come back. Welcome back, girl. We're ready for you. Just to talk about budget for advertising as well. So that we didn't come up with these grand ideas and find out that we have no money to spend on marketing and not wanting to spend, all of the money that she has set aside. So that there was that. And then to get those numbers for the town meeting handout. And we do have a rough of the town meeting handout that we had worked on. We just wanted to update those numbers.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So you guys just work with Christy on that. I know we have funds in one of our buckets for this, but Tracy.
I just wanted to also raise the idea of Daybreak. I happen to listen and also follow that through email. And I think sometimes we just focus on the two newspapers and not the radio, which a lot of people just drive around listening to all day.
Also very cost effective, actually, relatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Tracy, that's actually a great point, and it is a really good. I totally agree. It's a very good way to get the word out to locals also, because I do think maybe wider dissemination with the current and those things, but I totally agree with that, because I know if I ever put on the radio, that's the only station I put on.
Exactly.
And, I think we had heard though that some people had said that Housing Nantucket's often on the radio. So I think we just need to make sure that we're very crystal clear of us being the Affordable Housing Trust versus, not that there's anything wrong with Housing Nantucket, but I think that sometimes people get confused. I know I happen to be on another organization that gets confused with a different board. Tom's nodding his head. He knows what I'm talking about. This happens. So I think if we do a radio ad, let's just make sure we're very clear. This is the trust. So
I want to point out, just apropos that the distinction is what we're promoting. Okay. We're not promoting the Affordable Housing Trust. We're promoting what we've accomplished for people and what we've done with that public money. Ellis, you have your hand up.
Sorry, my camera is not working. Yeah, so I have a meeting with Florencia tomorrow on Thursday. She's going to pass me on the list of where we can advertise, and the associations and the boards that we can send to that are allies that she knows, and that we can share the information with, and they will definitely post.
Okay, and Megan?
Thank you. Was there mention of Affordable Housing Trust newsletter? I might have missed that.
I can speak on that.
Yeah, go ahead, Alice.
There has not been an affordable housing. We have not talked about the affordable housing newsletter to start, but there is a housing newsletter that goes out quarterly. And since Christy has gone on maternity leave, it did not. It was not released. So there's conversation on releasing one before.
Yes, there will be one before town meeting. The last one was sent out right at the end of December. And so we're right on schedule to release the next quarterly one.
So I want to point out that Christie's quarterly reports to the select board are sort of the live version of that. She's updating on a quarterly basis what we're up to, which involves, of course, lots of other housing organizations in terms of our funding. I want to suggest also, whatever we do on digital media, I think if we can link as much of that as possible to these little videos, that will be extremely effective, more effective than just static text.
One thing I forgot, but we also talked about was, Christy, maybe you speaking at one of those Rotary luncheons, because again, just trying to do as many different forums as possible. So I don't know if it'd be possible to do that before town meeting, but I think we thought that might be something good to do whenever we can fit you into that.
We need to get on that pretty
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
We can work on that.
I think, Christy, you're a member, aren't you?
I am a Rotarian, so
Okay.
I'll check with Brenda, their president.
That's great. We've got more hands up. Forrest? Whoops, you're muted. You could unmute, please. Forrest, you're muted. Okay, we're gonna move to Tom Dixon until Forrest can unmute.
Okay,
Oh, there you are. Okay, go ahead.
Madam Chair, thank you for recognizing me. I just have a quick question for Abby. You mentioned that the town had a nice camera. Is a collaboration with NCTV a possibility? Because then we would be able to utilize their top-notch AV equipment.
I can probably answer that if you
Yeah,
want.
Penny,
Okay, I'm
Do
working with
you.
them on a project right now, and they are pretty scheduled out between now and town meeting. It's not impossible. I mean, I think it's probably worth an inquiry if we have the funding to do that. Hold on 1 second. Rachel, is your comment related to this? Yeah, go ahead. Unmute, please.
I know that NCTV did something with Florencia regarding the weight drop, like I know this doesn't have anything to do with Affordable Housing Trust, but like the weight drive housing request, and they did do something of 7 Amelia because there's a warrant article regarding that, and then they did like a dorm tour with Kevin, our project manager, and myself. So I know that they are a little bit involved with Florencia regarding some housing stuff, but I don't know how involved.
all good points though, Forrest, Rachel. I think we were just gonna confirm, because someone had mentioned a nicer camera. I don't know if Forrest, that was through the partnership with NCTV or whomever, but I think since Ellis is gonna meet with Florencia, we can just confirm if we can use a nicer camera and the timing works. We'd like to do that, just so it's a little more professional, because I think that was some of the feedback we got about the previous videos.
Okay, and Tom Dixon, you have your hand up next.
Yeah, I just kind of want to put this out there as maybe a placeholder. I think the work that the little subcommittee has done is terrific, and I think that's exactly what we need to do. And thank you for them to their work. And I just wanted to add that I'm afraid that we're a little bit on the defensive all the time trying to describe affordable housing stuff, because it is very complicated. I've been talking to a lot of folks about town meeting and what's going to happen. And there's a lot of questions from people about, like, what is AMI and what's the difference between 240 and 80, and like why are you doing the X and Y, Z? So I just kind of want to throw this in as a placeholder for some time. I think the trust should take a stab at some kind of letter to the editor, FAQ, something to lay out, maybe not before town meeting because of time crunch, but just kind of describing kind of exactly what the bigger picture is, and also what our challenges are. I mean, we are so far ahead of like nearly any other place in the Commonwealth.
Yep.
And things like 30B procurement and what the difference is between, like, what Wiggles did and why, and all those things. Maybe some of those things would take volumes to write out, but I think at some point we should take a stab at it so the public has something as a go-to document to look at. Anyway, I'll just leave that there.
Exactly right. Chantal?
Thank you. Tom, I'm so happy to hear you say that, because that came up in our conversation, that we needed to do some things that were a little bit more evergreen, that we could push out, do it very professionally, keep updating these information and push it out to the public more often. And I was hoping that our subcommittee could be more than just a subcommittee that meets around annual town meeting, and even if it turned into a quarterly meeting and we could get together and just create updates. You know, I know Christy does a phenomenal job at doing that for the newsletter and also for select board. But if we could continue working together with Christy and Ellis to find different ways to get the information out to the public, so that we can get off of the defensive stance, and because we do such great work, you know, like we're always doing such great work.
Yeah. Thank you, Chantal. I mean, I guess I can make a motion, even though I'm chair, right? Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that if the three of you are willing to continue to work with Christy as a subcommittee on this stuff going forward, that we nominate you to do that. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Any discussion, comments, questions? Okay, by roll call vote, Megan?
Aye.
Thank you, Tom Dixon.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Shanta.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Thank you very much. And thank you for everything that you've done. You guys have been very tight and you're delivering, so we appreciate that.
Do
Okay,
we need a motion on the scripts?
yeah, did anybody have any questions, suggestions, or changes on the scripts? I thought they were great. I didn't see anything I would change. Anybody else?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I just had this is kind of silly, but one thing on the flyer, it says construction subsidies.
Yep.
And it leads that list. And to me, I don't know, the connotation of construction subsidies sounds like we're funding developers or something. That I just kind of leave that out there, that wording might be.
maybe there's a better way to say it, but it has historically been a very significant part of what we've done to create
Sure.
these units. So I don't know, Christy, can you
Maybe this is just me and I'm willing to accept that.
No, and also because we know that what that means, but your average voter isn't going to know what that means. I agree. I think that's a very good point.
Yeah, I think we'll wordsmith a
Work
little
on a
bit.
different wordsmith that. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the general direction these scripts are going in?
Motion to approve the direction.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Forrest. By roll call vote, Megan?
Aye.
Thank you, Tom.
Aye.
Thanks, Forrest.
Aye.
Thank you, Abby.
Aye.
Montauk.
Aye.
Thank you, and the chair votes aye. Thank you so much. Next on our agenda is board comments. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up that has not been discussed yet today? Okay. Any other business? No, thank you. Okay. Our next meetings right now are scheduled for Tuesday, April 15th at 12:30, and also then following that May 6th at 12:30. Next, we are going to entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting, not to return to our regular meeting for the purpose of going into executive session to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property located at, and it's all in your agenda, where an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. Does somebody want to make that motion?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. By roll call vote, Megan?
Aye.
Thank you, Tom Dixon.
Aye.
Forrest Bell.
Aye.
Thank you, Abby.
Aye.
Talk.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay, thanks, everybody. See you on the other side.